by the United States in Kabul, Afghanistan, to take out the chief of Al-Qaeda, al-Zawahiri. And there have been several question marks raised about this particular killing, about, who has given the information, how did the United States go about carrying this kind of an attack, the timing of the attack itself, when it was conducted, and where all of this is really headed. Also, it comes at a time when, very highly placed US official visited Taiwan as well. Was it done to take off some heat from what is happening in Taiwan and China? Those kind of questions have come up as well. And to discuss all these issues, to discuss the ramifications, and to discuss what next, I have with me on the program a very special guest, Major General Asgwani Siwach, retired. He's a defense expert, he's a strategic expert as well, and keeps a close eye on all of these aspects. General, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Frank.
General, so let's start with the first thing, the timing of this particular incident that has taken place. I mean, how would you look into it?
Yeah, Frank, see, now the point is, this is the time basically when Nancy Pelosi was going to Taiwan. And this was a tense moment because there was a lot of threat which was emanating from China. And especially their mouthpiece Global Times was claiming that they will not even minding, force against the aircraft of Nancy Pelosi. And also they said that if you play with a fire, you will be destroyed. So there was a hype. Possibly at this point of time when basically this incident take place, then automatically one can say the attention is diverted. Al-Zawahiri is a very important leader. He was the one who was Al-Qaeda top leader, who had basically a bounty of $25 million. And as on today, he was the most wanted target. So the point is that if this incident take place at that point of time, so attention of Nancy Pelosi going there can be diverted. And that's what the US wanted. US never knew as to how things unfold as far as Nancy Pelosi visit is concerned. How will China react? To their good luck, the visit has gone very fine. But they wanted that the total attention should not be there on that visit only. So they, in case if this incident take place and this has taken place, some attention was diverted. So possibly the timings are matching, and it's too good to believe that how come that Al-Zawahiri has been also killed almost a day or before the visit of Nancy Pelosi.
Absolutely. Talking about visits, General, there was another high-level visit as well. General Bajwa was in the United States. We've seen over the years that without Pakistan's blessings, it's very difficult to carry out any kind of strikes or any kind of activity in Afghanistan. What is the role of Pakistan in all of this, do you think? And was Pakistan arm twisted into this? Because Pakistan itself is not going through a very good time.
Absolutely. I think, Frank, first of all, we must understand Al-Qaeda was the one which was masterminded in 9/11 incident. And it was masterminded by Osama bin Laden, and Al-Zawahiri was number 2. He was second in command. And as we know that in 2011, Osama bin Laden was killed in Abbottabad in Pakistan. And Al-Zawahiri was not traceable. And he was possibly in Afghan border. The time when Taliban took over Afghanistan on 15th August 21, when the Americans have gone out and exit and abandoned Afghanistan, that is the time Al-Zawahiri was shifted from Afghan to a safe house in Kabul. Now, who was involved in that? Basically, it was Haqqani network and Sirajuddin Haqqani, who's a Minister of State for Home now. He was the one whose house has been given, and it was a safe house and where Al-Zawahiri was staying. Now, Haqqani network and ISI has a very close relation. And therefore, it is ISI also was in knowledge as to where present Al-Qaeda commander Al-Zawahiri was staying. And now what is happening is, as on today, Pakistan is in a dire need of getting a loan because their IMF loan was not coming through. They are having a debt of $130 billion, and their inflation rate is double figure. And their foreign reserve is dipped down to about $5 billion, which cannot even look after more than 1.5 months of their import. And their economy is in you can say not doing well. And there was a chance that the Pakistan may go the way the Sri Lanka has gone financially, because they have to pay back a certain interest of the loan which they have taken. They may default, and if they default, then what will happen is that their credit line will go down, and thereafter they will not get any loan. So this was the danger, and they need IMF loan badly. But the IMF was not very keen to give them loan, because for that the IMF requirement was they should restructure their complete earlier loan. Also, they should also restructure their taxes and all in a manner that it becomes important for all these things to become very costly, especially the fuel, food, and medicine. And that was hurting Pakistan. If they do it, as it is, inflation was so high, it will further go high. So this was the biggest problem to Pakistan. How do they get an IMF loan? And if they do not get an IMF loan, there was a chance of their defaulting, and then they go into a crisis, and they may go where the Sri Lanka has gone. Now, now General Bajwa played a major role in this. General Bajwa has spoken to the Deputy Secretary in Washington. He had nothing to do with for the loan and all. Possibly it is now felt that this was basically a package which was signed between the Americans as well as the Pakistani, headed by General Bajwa, that they will give the input about Al-Jihad, because this was known by ISI, and hence possibly to get into the good books of the US, they have passed the exact intelligence about Al-Jihad. And that is how Al-Jihari possibly has been eliminated. And in result, America will help in Pakistan to get an IMF loan, because America is the one which feed the maximum to IMF. And if America is keen to get loan to the Pakistan, then they will get it. So the two things which Pakistan was looking from America as on today, one is that loan to be given immediately, and the second thing is that they must be taken out from the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force. So both things have been promised. Now remember that earlier it was said that the condition which have been imposed for getting sanction of IMF, few of the conditions have not been met by Pakistan, and it is difficult to get it. But just 2 days back, after Al-Jihari was eliminated, IMF president is telling that Pakistan has met almost all the conditions and the loan can be given. So this is what the result has come. And also possibly in October, when the Financial Action Task Force will be getting together, the chances of Pakistan coming out of grey list are very high. So that possibility is there. Now let's see if that is the case, how has been Al-Jihari killed and from where the drones are taken. So it is known that
that's what I want to come to, General. That's what I want. That's a very important point that you raised. So how did all of this take place? How did this come about? And what exactly happened?
Yeah, first of all, location was very much passed by Pakistan ISI. Where is the exact location of Al-Jihari? That he is in a safe house in Kabul, and he has a habit of sitting in the balcony for hours together. So therefore, now the America has to decide as to how do we eliminate. Now the point is the best and safest method is over the horizon, because when Americans have left Afghanistan, they said they are not keen to come back. In case if they find a terrorist activity taking place, they will eliminate it by over the horizon by drones. Now the question comes in, if they have to eliminate by drone, from where does the drone take off? Because it can't take off from America. It can't take off from in Middle East, the bases which America has. It becomes too long because the range is the biggest problem. So the question is that it has to be very close to Afghanistan. It can't be Afghanistan because Taliban is ruling. It can't be Iran because Iran and America relations, one knows it. it possibly was Pakistan. And Pakistan is the one where, that base was also given, from where possibly this drone has taken off. And then it has fired basically hellfire missile. And this missile is now being slightly modified, that it has a very less explosive and it has got more sharpened knives, which only hit and target a particular target. And that is where it does not make too much sound and there is no collateral damage. So two, three things that possibly a base within Pakistan has been used. And second thing is the hellfire missile has been used by the drone to eliminate Al-Jihari. And this was done basically with the connivance of the Pakistan. So this is what it is looking, and it is also coming in a social media in Pakistan. Now this has become a very much news that possibly Pakistan has done mukbari. But that is a fact because Pakistan can go to any extent to get the benefit. So this is what now things are happening. So another question comes is that in Doha there was agreement which was signed between Taliban and America. And there the Taliban has said that they will not let their soil to be used for international terrorism against America or anywhere else. But the moment they have taken over, you will find it a lot of terrorist activity is increased in Afghanistan. Number of international terrorists have come and made it basis. One is Al-Qaeda, second is Islamic State. Also, the certain headquarters of Lashkar-e-Toba and Jaish-e-Mohammed has shifted in Afghanistan because Pakistan is trying to push them because they are feeling it. If India strikes on these POK bases, training areas and camps, then it will be very difficult to defend. Shift them to Afghanistan. So that has also happened. So therefore, the Taliban government in Afghanistan has violated the Doha agreement. And that is how they have moved Al-Jihari from Afaq area and given him shelter. The second thing comes is when it was asked from Taliban, how come the Al-Jihari was staying there in Afghanistan, in Kabul, and they have promised they will not give. He said, we can never ditch Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is very close to us as far as Taliban government is concerned. And Al-Jihari was very, very important leader and they always maintained relationship. So therefore, Al-Jihari was there. It was known by Haqqani network. Sirajuddin Haqqani house was given. It was known by ISI. ISI possibly with that, Jana Bajwa had talked with the people in IMF as well as in the state home department of US. They have basically given this input about the exact location, and thereafter the operation was planned. It was basically a drone which has taken off, also possibly from Pakistan base, and Hellfire missile was utilized, and that is how Al-Jihari was eliminated. Frank.
Absolutely. Now, General, let's talk about what next really, because and what does this mean for the region? Because Al-Jawahiri, of course, is someone who held the reins for a really long time. He was high up in the scheme of things as far as Al-Qaeda is concerned from a really long time as well. So is this going to cause a big dent in the rank and file of the Al-Qaeda? And does it give more space now for some of the groups like ISIS to, to come to the fore?
Absolutely. See, both things are possible. See, first of all, we must understand in 2011, Osama bin Laden was killed. That does not mean that it was end of Al-Qaeda. The moment Osama bin Laden was killed, then Al-Jihari was made as the leader of Al-Qaeda. So there is a temporary pause, there is a setback, there is going to be an impact on that, but the ideology of Al-Qaeda still remains. So therefore, to say that Al-Qaeda will stop functioning or cease to exist, that may not be true, but there will be a temporary setback for some time till the time his leader is been nominated. But certainly, it was a big target, and by killing Al-Jihari, you have dented the morale of Al-Qaeda, and Al-Qaeda, it will take some time to overcome that. In the meantime, Islamic State can fill that space? Yes, possible. Islamic State is also trying its best to increase its influence in Afghanistan. So both are increasing their space, and Al-Qaeda will have a temporary setback, but its ideology still remain. It is still an international terrorism. You know, both Islamic State and Al-Qaeda are international terrorists. Unlike Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed, or Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, they are limited to certain areas. Like Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed are the one which are being, grown in Pakistan, and they are trained, motivated, and then pushed toward India. So they are only specific to Pakistan, India. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is again homegrown, and that is it. Whereas Al-Qaeda, Islamic State, Khorasan, and all, these are the international terrorist groups which are operating all over the world, and they have bases and they have a strong ideology, and therefore the ideology will remain. There will be a temporary pause. There will be a sort of dent on their morale, but in the long run they will try to catch up, and this space may be filled by Islamic State, and both are one can say contemporary of each other as far as international terrorism is concerned. Right.
Absolutely. Right, General. We'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me with all these details, really, as far as the killing or the death of Al-Zawahiri, the Al-Qaeda chief, is concerned, its ramification, consequences, and what to expect. A pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. I just want to tell that what will be its impact to India.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please leave us with that.
So my point is, as far as India is concerned, of late, normally they were not commenting anything about India, but of late they have started commenting jihad in Jammu and Kashmir. Also, certain incident which has taken place in southern part of the country, they have commented about hijab and all. So therefore, as on today, their focus was not only America but also was shifting toward India. So this was a cause of concern for India, and therefore, once Al-Zawahiri has been killed, it is a good news for India and also to US. So as far as India is concerned, we have to be vigilant not only on Lashkar-e-Toba and Jaise Mohammed. Al-Qaeda is a threat in future, so we have to be alert. And also the Islamic State Khorasan. Islamic State Khorasan is also spreading its wings, especially in southern part of India, especially you can say educated lot which are there, which get motivated and radicalized through the social media. There are certain, youth which is there in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. So this is the cause of concern which has to be. But Al-Qaeda of late was also passing certain threatening warnings to India, and therefore Al-Zawahiri that is a welcome step as far as India is concerned. Frank.
Thank you so much, General, for bringing in that aspect as well, an important aspect as far as what is in stake or in store for India too. General, thank you for putting things into perspective for us. Pleasure having you on the program. Much appreciate you joining me on the Discourse and sharing your views on this very important subject. Well, before I go, let me once again remind you to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share the content as well. And don't forget to subscribe to our sister concern, My Bharata, as well, which talks about content that is specific to Indian heritage, Indian culture, and Indian knowledge systems too. So My Bharata is the name of our sister concern. You can subscribe to that too. That's it from me. See you again.